Hello and welcome to ZIZ Channel's live Election Day coverage 2022. I am your presenter, Scotticia Hendrickson. For the remainder of the morning, we will be taking you through the polling stations and providing you live coverage with spot reports from our reporters. Up next, we will have Carla Berridge in constituency number 3 at the St. Johnson's Community Center.
Election day here in St. Kitts is August 5th. The momentum has been building and the day is finally here. As ZIZ brings you coverage of Election Day, I'm Carla Berridge and I'm here at constituency number 3. It's polling station number 1, St. Johnson's. And there are, as you can see behind me, there is a line. A couple of people, it's quiet, it's slow, it's solemn. People are in and out. The crowds are moving in slowly. We are expecting 621 voters here today at St. Johnson's Community Center. Now, voters are reminded that as they come to the polling stations, they are expected to bring their voter's ID, and if they don't have a voter's ID, a government issued ID will be required. Persons are also expected to wear a mask. Please don't come without your mask or you will not be able to vote. Remember, COVID-19 is still real and we are asking that people stay safe and stay healthy. In constituency number 3, other polling stations, we have polling division 2 at the Antioch Baptist Church, polling division 3 at the Methodist room at Cadden Avenue, then we have polling division 4 at the Apostolic Faith Church. Polling division 4A has 478 voters and it will begin from A to I, last names A to I. Then there is polling division 4B, that's beginning from J to Y. Polling division 5 at the Nema building, 5A will be from letters A to K. Polling division 5B, that's L to Z. And polling division 6, we're still in constituency number 3. Polling division 6, Bronte Walsh School. Polling division 6A, that is surnames from A to J. And polling division 6B, expecting 442 voters from K to Y. Now the candidates for constituency number 3, we have Akila Baron Nisbet. This is her second time running. She won first in 2020, so she served as a Minister of Parliament for constituency number 3 for 2 years. Then we have Conwys Maynard for the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. He was a Minister of Parliament on the opposition side for 2015 to 2020, and we have a newcomer in Kervin Freeman. He is the PAM candidate, and so they are all expected to be contesting for constituency number 3 this election day today. And so we will be moving along to the other polling stations throughout the day. And so we ask him that you stay with ZIZ. I'm Carla Berridge, and I am here at the St. Johnson's Community Center in constituency number 3. Back to you.
About 8:17 a.m. My name is Mervan Thompson and I'm reporting for ZIZ News from polling station CFBC in constituency number 2. We've spoken to the candidate for the area for PLP, the People's Labour Party, Nubian Griot. He says he's not anxious, he's not concerned, he's confident that the PLP will gain 6 seats. They need 6 seats to win. He has observed some attitudes towards him in another polling station, but he's unmoved by that. He told us a few moments ago. We observed the line. There are about 40 to maybe 50 persons. Some persons are saying that the process is a little slow for them, but it's the first station for our reporting for this morning. We'll be back with more in a few.
Welcome back. As the nation prepares for general elections in the coming weeks, ZZ News provides a breakdown of the 2020 election results. Here are the details.
In 2020, the Team Unity Coalition won overall, securing 9 out of the 11 seats. According to the election results, some of those victories were by hundreds of votes, while others were very close. In constituency number 1, Jeffrey Hanley won by 24 votes, winning 8 out of 15 boxes. In constituency number 2, John L. Powell won by 232 votes, winning 11 out of 13 boxes. In constituency number 3, Akila Byron Nisbet won by 89 votes, winning 5 out of 10 boxes. In constituency number 4, Lindsey Grant won by 350 votes, winning all 10 boxes. In constituency number 5, Sean Richards won by 475 votes, winning 8 out of 10 boxes. In constituency number 6, Dr. Denzel Douglas won by 1,077 votes, winning all 9 boxes. In constituency number 7, Dr. Timothy Harris won by 1,263 votes, winning all 9 boxes. In constituency number 8, Eugene Hamilton won by 24 votes, winning 8 out of 18 boxes. Moving on to Nevis, in constituency number 9, Mark Brantley won by 538 votes, winning 14 out of 18 boxes. In constituency number 10, Eric Evelyn won by 543 votes, winning all 6 boxes. In constituency number 11, Alexis Jeffers won by 197 votes, winning 7 out of 10 boxes. Voter turnout last election ranged from 44 to 68% in each constituency, indicating that on average, only about half of the registered voters came out to the polls. This year, there are a few new faces on the ballot, as both the People's Action Movement and the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party have fielded new candidates in some of the constituencies. And for the first time, the People's Labour Party has announced a full slate of candidates contesting seats in all 8 constituencies on St. Kitts. This year's entry protocols are a bit more relaxed, so pundits suggest that the voters who live overseas may have a more significant impact. With these factors, analysts have said it's difficult to predict how this election may turn out, but the one thing that can be agreed upon is that the final outcome lies in the hands of the voters. Jason Davis for ZIZ News.
Welcome back to ZIZ's Live Election Day Coverage 2022. I am your presenter, Scotticia Hendrickson. Just a reminder, we will be taking you through the remainder of the morning and giving you updates from our different polling stations on St. Kitts from our reporters. We now join Carla Berridge again in constituency number 3 at the St. Johnson's Community Center.
And there are persons already going inside. The voting started at 7 a.m. and so there are persons who are now coming out. Here with me is Kellyanne Hanley, and she just stepped out. And I just want to ask you, tell me a little bit about the process going in, what took place.
Okay, when you go inside, first of all, when you go up the steps, they're going to ask you to put your stuff in the basket. If you have a cell phone, ask you to put it in a small container. Then they're going to request your name, you state your proper name, you pass out your identification card as well, and then you go from there. And then there's a lady on the end, she will come down with the ballot paper, show you, explain to you what we have to do, and then you choose which candidate you would like to vote for. Then, if you wish to, you can proceed and go to the back and choose a candidate, or you can stay at the front, whichever one you prefer, and then you just tick it off. You actually make an X actually. If you want to, you can fold it back or give it back to the candidate.
So how are you feeling coming out of the polling station?
Confident.
Thank you. So you're feeling confident. All right. I want to thank you so much for just stopping with us and telling us about the process.
You're welcome.
So I'm Carla Berridge, and we are here at constituency number 3, polling division 1, where candidates Akila Byron Nisbet, Kervin Freeman, and the candidate, yes, Kellyanne Henley has just told us what she did inside the polling station. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a nice day.
And you.
What wisely?
Lord Kellyanne.
And that was Carla Berridge in constituency number 3 at the St. Johnson's Community Center. We will now join Mr. Alva Bradley in constituency number 7 at the Molyneux Health Center.
Live from the grounds of the Molyneux Health Center. It's election day right here in St. Kitts and Nevis. The day that we have long anticipated is finally here. Bright, sunny, beautiful Friday morning in constituency number 7. Constituency number 7, they've got a total of 3,846 registered voters. 3,846 registered voters in constituency number 7. Last year, there was a total of 3,300, or that should be 3,722 registered voters. 3,722 registered voters, an increase of some 124 voters, an increase of some 124 voters. The poll opened this morning on time, that's at 7 o'clock, and as you can see, there are quite a number of persons already lining up in line and just eagerly and anxiously waiting to go in and cast their vote. There are some 3 political parties contesting this election. They are the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party, represented by Leon Natta Nelson, the People's Action Movement, represented by Lincoln David Pell, and the People's Labour Party, represented by Dr. Timothy Harris. One of the persons who came out quite early this morning and was able to cast his vote is well-known Lesroy Williams. Good morning to you, Lesroy.
Morning, Mr. Bradley.
How was the wait this morning? Was it extremely long, or was it?
Well, I first want to say that I inked my finger. I have voted, and I have voted for my country. It is country above self. This morning, there were people in the line way before 6 o'clock. The voting started on time at 7 o'clock, and the lines have been moving a little bit slowly, could move a little bit faster. But I think everything is progressing smoothly, and people are coming out, they're trickling in to come to exercise their right to vote.
From what I've seen this morning, Lesroy, everybody seems to be quite calm and very, very orderly, I should say.
Well, people are very calm, and I'm happy to see that the sun is not yet too, it's not too hot as yet. So people are a little bit cooler. I hope that the day will progress as it started smoothly, and that people will remain calm.
Well, thanks once again, Lesroy, for doing what you had to do, and we wish you well and hope that the voting will continue very smoothly and without any unnecessary.
My pleasure.
Certainly. And so we continue to monitor the situation here at the Molyneux Health Center. It's polling day. Persons out and exercising their right to vote for their political party of their choice. And so we have just spoken to Lesroy Williams, one of the many persons who came out this morning to cast their vote. I'm Alva Bradley, reporting from the Molyneux Health Center for ZAZ.
That was Mr. Alva Bradley. He is in constituency number 7 at the Molyneux Health Center. We will now join Mervan Thompson. She is at the Skelec building, that's on Central Street, in constituency number 2.
We're at continuing our election day coverage. Mervan Thompson for ZIZ, and we're reporting from Skelec, the St. Kitts Electricity Company. This particular polling division has two stations. 2A has 400 registered voters, 2B has 419 registered voters, for a total of about 819 persons. So far we spoke to the agents for each party, and they are seated outside on the tents, and we asked them what the vibe was like, what the mood was like for them for the morning, and each said that it's been okay, it's been all right, no confusion, no discrepancies they've observed. It's a cool morning, so we're just continuing. The polling station opened at about 7:05 according to one person in line. It's also a slow process here for them, as reported by some persons, although the agents say it was slow already, but it is now picking up. So we'll continue our election day coverage. Keep it locked to ZIZ. Mervan Thompson signing out.
And that was Mervan Thompson in constituency number 2 at the Skelec building on Central Street. We'll now have an excerpt from Mac Brantley on his campaign trail.
Want Nevis to be a better country. I want my people to have prosperity. So I will vote for CCM and Mac Brantley. So when you see hey, with CCM, trust me, it's no problem. They keeping the country strong with the momentum. Other politicians just beat around the problem. So if you want the job get done, give me a call. Then we voted for Mac now. We voted for Mac now. Brantley and the CCM, the job will get done now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. gentlemen. Good evening to the good people of Rollins, Zetlands, Hard Times, wherever you are. And you can hear the voice of the concerned citizens movement. Good evening to the good people of Nevis 10. This is Eric Evelyn Country, and we have come to support him this evening. I am so happy to hear Eric giving an account of his stewardship, because he's right. When you elected him for a 5-year term. But somebody decided that they would bring the government to a premature end. And they brought the government to a premature end because of self, because of ego, because of greed, because of corruption, because of the unwillingness to change course. When his colleagues said to him, and I'm talking about the man called Timo, Timo, you're going down the wrong road. This is not what we agreed. This is not what we signed on to. You are departing from the core principles of unity. Timo insisted that it must be about him and his family. And that is why he brought the government to an end. Let nobody fool you. PAM did not end the government. CCM did not end the government. One man and one man only brought the government to an end. And that is why I agree with Eric. He cut Eric's term short, but he had a joke. He cut his term short too. Because as sure as the sun will rise tomorrow, come August 5th, there will be a new prime minister in Church Street.
Bye-bye.
Moving right along, we'll now join Calla Burridge.
Ready. Calla Burridge reporting from constituency number 3. We are at polling division 4, the Apostolic Faith Church, and it is split into 2 groups. Before we speak about the crowds that are here, with me is Randine today, and she has just also voted, and I just want her to tell me a little bit about her experience. How are you feeling this morning?
Confident. The people, there's no tension, everybody is relaxed, and the line is moving smoothly on the inside. The elderly and those that are disabled are being able to vote before other persons who are well able, and so we're not having any trouble on this end.
So how are you feeling ahead of the elections?
Confused. Confused because you didn't understand why are they fighting at this point in time, why are we having an election so early. If my take was, if the big men who are in government cannot work out their situation, how would the gangsters work it out? But it is what it is, and everybody has a choice, and so we are here again at the polls in 2 years doing it all over again to choose a government.
I want to thank you so much, Randine, for stopping by and speaking with us, and have a safe election day.
Thank you. You also be careful.
Thank you.
And that was Calla Burridge in constituency number 3, Apostolic Faith Church, a polling station, polling division 4. We will now join Mervan Thompson in constituency number 2.
Continuing our election coverage, we are still at the Skelec, and we have the candidate for the People's Action Movement for this constituency number 2, John L. Powell. How has the morning been for you, and how confident are you?
The morning has been fairly well so far. I'm very confident that the people of Central Bassi are going to go out and re-elect me today. It's unfortunate we're in election 2 years again after the last one, but such is life.
Now we know that this week you indicated that you were heading to the courthouse to file an injunction on some 1,000 names that were on the list. Please correct me if that number is incorrect. What's the update on that?
The case that I filed was in relation to 101 names. Of those 101, the legal counsel for the electoral for the electoral officials conceded to 29, which they indicated they had no idea how those names got onto the list, and so those names were removed. In relation to the other 71 names, it was felt that although the court held that those names really ought not be on the list, that at that point in time, by the time we had the hearing yesterday afternoon, it would have been too late for the electoral officials to make all the amendments on the list. And so on that single point of balance of convenience, the court decided to leave those names on the list and indicated that if necessary, they could be challenged on an election petition after the poll.
I was about to ask about that, because if as a candidate you are challenging those names, then what does it mean for you at the polls? Are your agents aware of the particular names, and how does it go? What's the process like? How do you feel about them being able to vote on that convenience on this particular day?
Well, the court made it clear that the existence of those names on the list is a clear disadvantage to me as a candidate. But it is what it is. The court has ruled. We respect the rule in the court. I'm an officer of the court, and we know these 71 names, and we are going to make a note whether they vote or not. And in the unlikely event that we need to file a petition, we'll do so. But to be honest, I'm not worried about a petition, because I'm confident that I will be successful today, despite whatever machinations go on, despite whatever voter padding happens in Central Bastille.
Thank you so much for your time, and good luck.
Thank you.
And that was Mervyn Thompson in constituency number 2 at the Skellick building on Central Street, speaking with the People's Action Movement representative Jonelle Powell. We will now move to an interview with the with Superintendent, Cromwell Henry, who will be up next.
My name is Cromwell Henry, Superintendent of Police of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. As we near polling day, the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force wished to bring to the general public some pertinent aspects of the National Assembly Elections Act, as well as some guidelines, general guidelines that will ensure smooth operations on polling day. First, I will begin with who are permitted to enter a polling station. Persons who are permitted to enter a polling station include, of course, the voters, the presiding officer, the supervisor of elections, the returning officer, the polling clerk, the candidates themselves, one agent for each candidate, the police officer on duty at the polling station, members of the Electoral Commission, and, of course, delegates from the observer team that are currently on island. However, no candidate or his agent shall be in the same polling station at the same time for more than 5 consecutive minutes. The polling station would be under the control of the presiding officer, and the presiding officer will determine how many voters at a time will enter the polling station. The police officer on duty would be there to ensure that general order is maintained in the vicinity and within the polling station. No person shall assemble within 100 yards of the polling station except persons who are waiting to vote. I repeat that. No person shall assemble within 100 yards of any polling station except persons who are waiting to vote. No liquor shall be sold or given away at any premises in any electoral district between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on polling day. Loudspeakers, banners, flags, ribbons. No person shall furnish or supply these on polling day. I repeat that. No person shall furnish or supply the following items on polling day: loudspeakers, buntings, ensigns, standard or set of colors, flags, ribbons, or labels to any person, or display them on any vehicle, or carry on their person on polling day. I'll get back to explain that after I would have completed the other items on my list. No person shall seek to influence any voter or vote for any candidate or ascertain for what candidate any voter intends to vote or has voted for. Let me repeat that. No person shall seek to influence any voter to vote for any candidate or ascertain for what candidate any voter intends to vote or has voted for. No person shall threaten or force or compel or inflict injury on any person for him to vote. No cell phones or other recording devices are permitted in any polling or voting booth. Every voter has a right to cast their vote at any polling station where they are duly registered. Every voter has a right to cast their vote at any polling station where they are duly registered. Any person who seeks to prevent or obstruct any voter commits an offense and would be liable on summary conviction to a fine of up to $1,000 or to imprisonment for up to 6 months, or both. In order to facilitate the smooth flow of traffic in the rural areas in particular, on election day, August 5th, between the hours of 6 a.m. and 8 p.m., the licensing authority has implemented the following parking restrictions. On the Island Main Road in Challengers, Old Road, Halfway Tree, Sandy Point, and Keon. This simply means that no vehicle should park along the Island Main Road in these villages between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. on election day. We crave the indulgence of the general public to cooperate fully with the security forces who will be out in their numbers. There will be members of the security forces at each polling station, and they'll be there to ensure that each voter can cast their vote in an environment of safety and security, and we ask that you respect each other's right to vote and not to disrupt any person from casting their vote. The presiding officer would be responsible for the polling station, and they will ensure that only persons who are eligible to vote are allowed to vote. We ask that members of the general public not to interfere with anyone whom they may think should not be at a particular polling station. As I said, the presiding officer will make those determinations, and determine who will be permitted to vote based on their registration status. Again, we wish everyone a very safe and pleasant polling day, and we ask for your full cooperation. Thank you.
And that was an interview with the Superintendent of Police, Cromwell Henry. We'll now join Ms. Mervan Thompson in constituency number 1.
We are live at the Warner Park polling division in constituency 1 this time, and we have the candidate for the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, Dr. Jeffrey Hanley. How has the morning been for you?
Thank you very much. The morning has been a busy morning in terms of trying to get out the early vote. I was fortunate enough to be the first voter in my polling division this morning, so I cast the first vote, and I am now visiting all of the polling stations to make sure that things go smoothly. And from what I am seeing in polling division 2, everything seems to be in order. We had a little hiccup. Maybe it's a big one to other persons in the Kim Collins Stadium, where the polls were open late. The workers were in there, but from my assessment, it seemed as if, apart from the inexperience of some of them, there was a level of panic and anxiety. But immediately I was able to try to engineer certain things so that by the time I left, the voting process would have started. I visited the Tucker Clark Primary School, which is a very big box, and the lines were wrapped around the building at the Tucker Clark Primary School. Public Works as well, the voters are out. Had a little change in the polling stations, but nonetheless the voters are in line and getting ready to cast their ballots.
Indeed, a busy morning for you. So as you made your rounds this morning, and you did comment that the Kim Collins Stadium opened late, at what time did it open?
I don't want to... I know it opened long after 7. Okay. It could have been close to an hour, even over an hour. But the workers were there. But I don't know what could have been the setback other than what I was told in terms of panic. And from my assessment, as I said, because I greeted someone who I thought was the poll clerk, not realizing that the person was the presiding officer, and after engagement I realized that the person was totally lost to what was happening, and his face was beaded with sweat. So I could only imagine the pressures that he might have been under.
As you were the first voter, is it at this station?
No, I voted at the Catholic Parish Hall. That's on the Independence Square Street, right by the Catholic Church. That's where I have been voting from since 1989 and 93. Then you'll get an idea of how old I am.
What time did that poll open, since you were the first one?
7 o'clock. Short of 7, but I must give it to the presiding officer. Just before 7, she came to the door, gave the announcement, showed the box, and I proceeded in just as I got the signal. So about 7:08, when I came out, I casted my vote.
How confident are you in retaining the seat?
I am very, very confident, and those of you who know me would have known that I put in the work, and I can only wait until 6 o'clock, and I know that I will be rewarded for the hard work that I would have put in over these 2 years and even prior to. And I look forward to going into government and working on behalf of all of the people later this evening.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, the candidate for the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party for constituency number 1. Reporting live from the Warner Park polling division, I'm Mervan Thompson for ZIZ News.
Thank you.
And that was Mervan Thompson in constituency number 1 at Warner Park, speaking with St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party representative Jeffrey Hanley. We'll now move to Caleb Burridge in constituency number 3.
For today, August 5th, we are here at polling division 5 in constituency number 3. There is a lot of people here right now waiting to go into vote, and we have just met the candidate for the People's Labour Party, Akila Byron Nisbet. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Okay.
Feeling really good.
So you haven't voted as yet, but you're heading in. What is the feeling?
I am excited. I've been doing my rounds since 7 o'clock this morning, and the feedback continues to be positive, and I am excited about the results this evening. The people are showing up. As you can see, the lines are long, and it's every single polling station. The lines are very long, so people are making sure they show up to vote, which is important. It is your right, and as long as you are registered, you can vote. And so we are happy with the turnout. We are seeing our persons who we know are supportive in line and ready to go very early in line to make sure they're able to cast their vote, and so we're looking forward to some positive results this evening.
Okay, so this is your second time around. What differences, challenges have you faced?
It's been calm. It's been calm. Because it's the second time around, it's only 2 years ago, we made sure we took all the notes from all the challenges we would have had back in 2020, and we just made sure we covered our bases. So yesterday we just made sure we dot all the I's and cross all the T's, so that this morning it would be a smooth run, so that we'll be able to make sure we have everything under control. So far it's been going good. By the grace of God, we know it will go smooth right down until the end, so feeling good.
All right, thank you so much for your time, and good luck today.
Thank you.
All right, so we are here at the Nima building. It's polling division 5. We are expecting over 1,000 people actually here at Nima today. The building is split in two. It's 5A, surnames beginning with A to those beginning with K, and there are 633 persons in that category. 5B, surnames beginning with L to those beginning with Z, and 642 persons are expected here today. So as you can see, there are persons here. It's a bit overcast, but the sun was out a bit earlier, and so there are umbrellas. People are patient, people are waiting, and people are ready to vote. Once again, we are here in constituency number 3. We are at the Nima building. It's polling division number 3, Calabarage.
And that was Calabarage in constituency number 3, polling division 5 at the Nima building, speaking with Deputy Leader of the People's Labour Party, Akila Byron Nisbet. We will now move to constituency number 7 at the Estridge Primary School with Alva Bradley.
We greet you once again, and this time we're coming to you from the Edgar T. Morris Primary School, located in Tabernacle, constituency number 7. It's polling day right here in St. Kitts and Nevis, the 5th of August. And it's certainly a very bright, sunny, beautiful Friday morning. Constituency number 7, polling station number 1, the Edgar T. Morris Primary School. Last year it was designated as polling station number 2. This year it's polling station number 1, with a total of 538 registered voters. 538 registered voters. Last year we had 497 registered voters, so an increase of some 41 registered voters at the Edgar T. Morris Primary School. As you can see, quite a number of persons have come out early this morning. We understand that the line is moving rather slowly this morning, and we can see that. We have been here for about 20-25 minutes, and very few persons have gone in to vote as yet, so this line is moving very slowly. But everybody still very calm, still very orderly, sanitizing, some wearing their masks, adhering to the COVID-19 protocol still, and certainly all anxiously and eagerly awaiting to go in and cast their vote for their respective party of their choice. 3 parties, like we said, contesting the election: the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party, represented by Leon Natter Nelson; the People's Action Movement, represented by Lincoln David Pell; and the People's Labour Party, represented by Dr. Timothy Harris. 538 registered voters this year. Last year we had 497 registered voters. Last year, of the 497 registered voters, some 348 persons voted. Only 348 persons voted last year. Will the numbers increase this year? That we will certainly have to wait and see. But it's a beautiful Friday morning. It's bright, sunny, and breezy right here in Tabernacle as we come to you from the Edgar T. Morris Primary School, polling station number 1 here in the village of Tabernacle.
And that was Alva Bradley at the Edgar T. Morris Primary School in constituency number 7. We will now move to Mervan Thompson, who is still in constituency number 2 at the Old Boys School.
The Warner Park Cricket and Football Stadium. We are reporting live here, and it's interesting the polling divisions and how they're demarcated, because we're literally standing outside, but we are outside of constituency 1 and we are standing in constituency 2. We had a quick chat with one of the poll clerks here, and she said that so far for the morning it's been a busy morning. They've had about 150 persons who have voted already from a listing of about 660 persons. So far so good, and we are continuing to cover. My name is Mervan Thompson. I'm reporting for ZIZ News. Have to get out the way of the traffic. Thank you so much for your continued listenership. Thank you so much for continuing to listen and to cover with us. Stay tuned here as we continue bringing you more of Election Day coverage in St. Kitts and Nevis, August 5, 2022.
That was Mervan Thompson in constituency number 2 at the Old Boys School. We will now rejoin Mr. Alva Bradley in constituency number 7 at the Edgar T. Morris Primary School.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning, sir, and pleasant Friday morning to you. And you're looking very bright and, you know.
Yes, just giving God thanks for another day, and for day at the polls where, after all the fun of campaigning, we now have the fun of electoral now voting, and then we're going to have the fun of celebrating later from the victory. So that's why I'm happy.
As a first-time candidate, how was the whole polling and the campaigning and everything going for you?
Well, everything is going smooth. So far, I give God thanks. It's peaceful, it's quiet, and everybody just come and just be by themselves and have whatever little chatting, but no arguments, nothing like that. So it's a good sign that persons listen to have a peaceful election, and I hope at the end of the day we will have the same thing after the end of it, with celebrations, and maybe some persons, those who would have not come through for their supporters, would still have that peaceful attitude.
If you were to win this constituency, what would be one of your first objectives as a Minister of Government?
Well, we are standing in the school ground, and the northern side back there need fencing, so that will be one of the things I will deal with. And plus we have the playing field just down here, is to make sure we have it properly fenced, and the facilities for bathrooms and media and changing rooms up and running, because we're in this constituency, and we also have some other issues when it deals with roads and so forth, and even farming. Also is to what I keep talking about, economic development, jobs. And also throughout the other areas of my constituency is the same thing. Make sure the schools are up and running, especially in Molyneux, to get that sorted out, and the playing fields in those areas, to make them what I said we're going to get them done, and also economic development and job creation throughout my constituency, and dealing with the roads and dealing with the housing issues and social programs that we talk about.
Becoming involved in politics in St. Kitts is not an easy undertaking. What prompted you to become involved in politics?
Well, persons get involved because of things they see, and but most importantly, I was in church sitting down, and I had to ask a question. And then it was easy for me to get in. But also seeing what is happening in my country, I said, okay, if I can do it privately, without anyone know, because I just, okay, let me just make a contribution. Then why not get into government where I can do it openly and on a wider scale and helping more people. And at the same time, helping to develop our country and make it a prosperous nation.
Certainly. The People's Action Movement representative, Lincoln David Pell, we wish you the very best and have yourself a great Friday.
Thank you very much, sir, and looking forward to celebrating after the win. Thank you very much. Have a blessed one.
Certainly we all are. Thanks again and have a great Friday.
Thanks.
The People's Action Movement representative in constituency number 7, Lincoln David Pell, just giving us a couple of comments. He's going to be back in just a few minutes to cast his vote as well. And like we said, we wish him well in this election. That's it from the Edgar T. Morris Primary School here in Tabernacle.
That was Mr. Alva Bradley in constituency number 7 at the Edgar T. Morris Primary School in St. Peter's, speaking with the People's Action Movement representative, Mr. Lincoln David Pell. We'll now have a statement by the Supervisor of Elections on the polling stations.
Fellow citizens and residents, when I addressed you last, I invited you to pay attention to the voting sites. I also indicated that I would provide numbers and breakdowns for further study. I thank those persons who have commented and brought certain things to my attention. Therefore, in this broadcast, I will correct those errors and provide the statistics as promised.
Jason's body heat runs a bit.
Constituency number 1 has 6,366 voters. That's 6366. Polling division number 1, the Catholic Parish Hall, East Independence Square Street, where 570 voters are assigned. Polling division number 2, Warner Park, has 3 stations. 2A has 413 voters, with surnames beginning with A to those whose surnames begin with F. Station 2B has 439 voters, with persons whose surnames begin with G to those beginning with M. And Station 2C has 407 voters, with those whose surnames begin with N to those whose surnames begin with Y. Polling division number 3, 3A is at Tucker Clark Primary with 534 voters whose surnames begin with A to those whose surnames begin with W. 3B to 3F are located at the Kim Collins Stadium, with 3B having 460 voters with surnames beginning with A to those whose surnames begin with G. Station 3C has 420 voters, with persons whose surnames begin with H to those whose surnames begin with O. Station 3D has 404 voters, with surnames beginning with P to those surnames beginning with Z. Station 3E has 412 voters, with surnames beginning with A to those surnames beginning with K. And 3F has 410 voters, with surnames beginning with L to those beginning with Z. Polling Division 4, located at the Public Works Department, is divided into 4A, 4B, and 4C. 4A has 407 voters, with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with F. 4B has 458 voters, with surnames beginning with G to those surnames beginning with O. 4C has 401 voters, with surnames beginning with P to those beginning with W. Polling Division 5 is located at the Police Training Complex, has 369 voters, and Polling Division 6, located at Hope Chapel, has 262 voters. In constituency number 2, there are 5,735 voters. That is 5735. Polling division number 1 at the Methodist Church Hall, Seaton Street, has 662 voters. Polling division 2 at Skellig has 2 stations. 2A has 400 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with I. And station 2B has 419 voters with surnames beginning with J to those beginning with Z. Polling division 3, located at the Job Ward Center, Dr. Lake Drive in Shadwell, has 4 stations. Station 3A has 565 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with D. Station 3B has 511 voters with surnames beginning with E to those beginning with I. Station 3C has 661 voters with surnames beginning with H to those beginning with K. Station 3D has 545 voters with surnames beginning with L to those beginning with Z. Polling Division 4, located at St. Barnabas Anglican Church, has 2 stations. 4A has 471 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with J. 4B has 467 voters with surnames beginning with K to those beginning with Z. Polling Division 5 at the CFBC has 617 voters. Polling Division 6 at the former CPU building has 417 voters. Constituency number 3 has 4,429 voters assigned. That's 4429. Polling Division 1 at St. Johnston's Community Center has 621 voters. Polling Division 2 at Antioch Baptist Church, Infirmary Road, has 269 voters. Polling Division 3 at the Methodist Church Room, Cardin Avenue, has 404 voters. Polling Division 4 at the Apostolic Faith Church, St. Johnston's Avenue, is split into 2. 4A has 478 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with I, and 4B has 517 voters with surnames beginning with J to those beginning with Y. Polling Division 5 at Nema Building is split into 2. 5A has 633 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with K. 5B has 642 voters with surnames beginning with L to those beginning with Z. Polling Division 6 at Bruntiwell School has 2 units. 6A has 423 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with J, and 6B has 442 voters with surnames beginning with K to those beginning with Y. Constituency number 4 has 3,579 voters assigned. That's 3579. Polling Division 1 at Challengers Community Center has a 2-way split. 1A has 322 voters with surnames beginning with A to those whose surnames begin with L. 1B has 284 voters with surnames beginning with M to those beginning with W. Polling Division 2 at the Methodist School Room at Old Road is also split into 2. 2A has 403 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with J. 2B has 327 voters with surnames beginning with K to those beginning with W. Polling Division 3 at Tyrrell Williams Primary School has 2 units. 3A has 395 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with J. Station 3B has 423 voters with surnames beginning with K to those surnames beginning with W. Polling Division 4 at Grace Gospel Hall, Middle Island, has 2 units. 4A has 318 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with H. 4B has 301 voters with surnames beginning with I to those beginning with Z. Polling Division 5 at Halfway Tree Community Center is also separated into 2. 5A has 395 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with K. 5B has 411 voters with surnames beginning with L to those beginning with Z. Constituency number 5 has 3,223 voters. That's 3223. Polling Division 1 at the Sandy Point Recreation Ground has 3 polling stations. 1A has 414 voters with surnames beginning with A to those surnames beginning with G. Station 1B has 382 voters with surnames beginning with H to those beginning with Q. Station 1C has 412 voters with surnames beginning with R to those beginning with Z. Polling Division number 2 at Sandy Point Preschool has 400 voters. Polling Division 3 at the former Xylee Supermarket on Station Street has 2 stations. Station 3A has 286 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with I. And Station 3B has 297 voters with surnames beginning with J to those beginning with Z. Polling Division 4 at Emmanuel Methodist Church Hall has 378 voters. Polling Division 5 has 2 stations. 5A, Nazarene Gospel Hall, has 255 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with W for Fig Tree and its surrounds. Station 5B, which would be a container located in the gut, has 170 voters with surnames beginning with A to those surnames beginning with W for the gut and its surrounds. Polling Division 6, the new Sandy Point Police Complex, has 269 voters. Constituency number 6 has 3,467 voters. That's 3,467. Polling Division 1 at the Newton Ground Primary School has 2 stations. 1A has 352 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with J. 1B has 296 voters with surnames beginning with L to those beginning with Z. Polling Division 2 at St. Paul's Community Center has 479 voters. Polling Division 3 at St. Paul's Primary School has 2 stations. 3A has 399 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with F. 3B has 329 voters with surnames beginning with G to those beginning with W. Polling Division 4 at Dieppe Bay Primary School has 427 voters. Polling Division 5 at Parsons Community Center has 332 voters. Polling Division 6 at Sadler's Primary School has 493 voters. Polling Division 7, also at Sadler's Primary School, has 360 voters. Constituency number 7 has 3,846 voters. That's 3,846. Polling Division 1 is at the Edgar T. Morris School and has 538 voters. Polling Division 2 at the Tabernacle Community Center has 497 voters. Polling Division 3 at Estridge Primary School has 355 voters. Polling Division 4 at the Covenant Outreach Church has 394 voters. Polling Division 5 at Joshua O. Williams School has 542 voters. Polling Division 6 at the Molineux Health Center has 471 voters. Polling Division 7 at the Mount Carmel Community Center has 322 voters. Polling Division 8 at Violet O. Petty School has 2 stations. 8A has 412 voters, with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with M, and Station 8B has 315 voters, with surnames beginning with N to those beginning with Y. Constituency number 8 has 7,370 voters. That's 7370. Polling Division 1 at the Keon Care Center has 2 stations. Polling Station 1A has 386 voters, with surnames beginning with A to those whose surnames begin with J. Polling Station 1B has 370 voters, with surnames beginning with K to those beginning with Y. Polling Division 2 has 2 stations. Polling Station 2A, located at the Keon Church of God, has 484 voters, with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with H. Polling Station 2B, located at the Redeemed Baptist Church, has 475 voters, with surnames beginning with I to those beginning with Y. Polling Division 3 at Keon Primary School has 2 stations. Polling Station 3A has 454 voters, with surnames beginning with A to those whose surnames begin with J. Polling Station 3B has 396 voters, with surnames beginning with K to those beginning with Z. Polling Division 4 is split into 6 stations by geography and by surnames. Polling Station 4A at St. Peter's Community Center has 330 voters, with surnames beginning with A to those whose surnames begin with H. Polling Station 4B at St. Peter's Community Center has 309 voters, with surnames beginning with I to those whose surnames begin with Y. Polling Station 4C at the Anglican Church Hall, St. Peter's, has 505 voters, with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with Y. Polling Station 4D at the Connery Community Center has 387 voters, with surnames beginning with A to those whose surnames begin with G. Polling Station 4E at Connery Community Center has 405 voters, with surnames beginning with H to those beginning with M. Polling Station 4F at Connery Preschool has 391 voters, with surnames beginning with N to those surnames beginning with Z. Polling Division 5 at St. Peter's Primary School is divided into 5 stations. Polling Station 5A has 438 voters, with surnames beginning with A to those whose surnames begin with C. Polling Station 5B has 352 voters, with surnames beginning with D to those whose surnames begin with G. Polling Station 5C has 410 voters, with surnames beginning with H to those beginning with L. Polling Station 5D has 381 voters, with surnames beginning with M to those whose surnames begin with Q. Polling Station 5E has 434 voters, with surnames beginning with R to those whose surnames begin with Y. Polling Division 6 at Keys Community Center has 453 voters. Constituency number 9 has 6,669 voters. That's 6669. Polling Division 1 at the Church of God in Cox has 476 voters. Polling Division 2 is divided into 2 stations. Polling Station 2A at Elizabeth Primary School has 355 voters, with surnames beginning with A to those whose surnames begin with K. Polling station 2B at the old St. John's Primary School Annex has 332 voters with surnames beginning with L to those whose surnames begin with W. Polling Division 3 is divided into 4 stations. Polling Station 3A at Ivor Walters Primary School has 412 voters with surnames beginning with A to those whose surnames begin with D. Polling Station 3B at the Ivor Walters Primary School has 328 voters with surnames beginning with E to those whose surnames begin with L. Polling Station 3C at Ivor Walters Primary School has 365 voters with surnames beginning with M to those beginning with R. Polling Station 3D at the Cicely Brown Integrated School has 311 voters with surnames beginning with S to those beginning with Z. Polling Division 4 is divided into 3 stations. Polling Station 4A, located at Marion Heights, Education Department, Marion Heights, has 307 voters with surnames beginning with A to those whose surnames begin with G. Polling Station 4B, located at Education Department, Marion Heights, has 312 voters with surnames beginning with H to those beginning with M. Polling Station 4C, located at the United Pentecostal Church, has 384 voters with surnames beginning with N to those whose surnames begin with X. Polling Division 5, located at the Albertha Payne Center, Bath, is split into 2. Polling Station 5A has 414 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with J. Polling Station 5B has 419 voters with surnames beginning with K to those beginning with Z. Polling Division 6, located at the Methodist Church Hall in Charlestown, has 2 stations. Polling Station 6A has 396 voters with surnames beginning with A to those whose surnames begin with L. Station 6B has 338 voters with surnames beginning with M to those beginning with Z. Polling Division 7, located at the Magistrate Court, has 450 voters. Polling Division 8 has 2 stations at the Charlestown Primary School. Polling Station 8A has 445 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with K. Polling Station 8B has 481 voters with surnames beginning with L to those beginning with Z. Polling Division 9 at the courthouse has 144 voters. Constituency number 10 has 1,845 voters. That's 1845. Polling Division 1, located at New River Methodist Church, has 207 voters. Polling Division 2, located at Gingerland Preschool, has 233 voters. Polling Division 3, located at the Hard Times Building, has 339 voters. Polling Division 4 at Charles Walters Community Center, Hanleys Road, has 141 voters. Polling Division 5, located at the Charles Walters Community Center, Hanleys Road, has 565 voters. And Polling Division 6, located at the Gingerland High School, has 360 voters. And I should add here that the entrance to the Gingerland High School is on the eastern side on the Estate Road, the Hard Times Estate Road. Constituency number 11 has 4,404 voters. That's 4404. Polling Division 1 at NEPAC has 389 voters. Polling Division 2 at Jessop's Community Center has 2 stations. Polling Station 2A has 379 voters with surnames beginning with A to those whose surnames begin with K. Polling Station 2B has 395 voters with surnames beginning with L to to those beginning with Z. Polling Division 3 at the Cotton Ground Community Center has 2 stations. Polling Station 3A has 323 voters with surnames beginning with A to those whose surnames begin with K. Polling Station 3B has 357 voters with surnames beginning with L to those beginning with Z. Polling Division 4 at VOJN Primary School has 2 stations. Polling Station 4A has 369 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with K. Polling Station 4B has 419 voters with surnames beginning with L to those beginning with Y. Polling Division 5 at Trinity Methodist Church Hall has 472 voters. Polling Division 6 at Franklin Brown Community Center has 405 voters. Polling Division 7 is in 2 locations. Polling Station 7A at the Church of God, Brooklyn, has 481 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with Y and who live in Brooklyn and its surrounds. Polling Station 7B at the Butters Community Center has 415 voters with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with Y and who live in Butlers and its surrounds. The voters list, therefore, as currently configured, contains 38,015 voters in St. Kitts, that's 38015 voters in St. Kitts, and 12,918 voters in Nevis, that's 12918, for a total of 50,933 voters, that's 50933. Thank you for your time, thank you for your attention, and may God continue to bless us all.
That was a statement by the Supervisor of Elections, Mr. Elvin Bailey, on the different changes within the polling stations. We will now join Carla Berridge in constituency number 3 in West Farm at the Bronte Welch Primary School.
Ready? Yeah. As we continue ZIZ's SKN elections coverage, I'm Carla Berridge and I am covering constituency number 3. We are at the final polling station for constituency number 3. We are at the Bronte Welch Primary School. It is in West Farm. As you can see, there are a few people here. They are patiently waiting. There was one person that passed us on the way in and she said, well, it's taking too long, so she has to leave. But there are persons who are still here, ready, willing, and waiting to vote. The Bronte Welch Primary School, they are expecting just over 800 persons, 6A and 6B. The group of 6A with surnames beginning with A to those beginning with J. That's 423 voters, and then 6B is 442 voters. Their surnames begin with K to those beginning with Y. Now voters are reminded to bring a mask, wear a mask. They're also reminded to bring a government issued ID, whether a voter's ID or otherwise. Here we are at the Bronte Welch Primary School, a few voters waiting and ready to vote. I'm Carla Berridge and we are here in constituency number 3.
And that was Carla Berridge in constituency number 3 at the Bronte Welch Primary School. We will now join Alva Bradley. He is in constituency number 6 at the Sadler's Primary School.
Once again, on this bright, sunny, beautiful Friday morning, it's election day here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and we are now coming to you from constituency number 6, and we are at polling station number 7 at the Sadler's Primary School. At the Sadler's Primary School, there are 2 polling stations here at this constituency, and as we can see, there are quite a number of voters already lined up and trying to make their way into the polling station to cast their vote for their respective party. Three parties once again contesting in constituency number 6. We have Dr. Denzel Douglas for the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party, Mark Williams of the People's Labour Party, and Troy Flanders of the People's Action Movement. And we have with us the PAM representative himself, Troy Flanders. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
And how are you feeling on election day?
I'm feeling pretty confident. Pretty confident in the fact that the People's Action Movement is going to form government.
You are a relatively newcomer to the political scene, and how have things gone for you during the whole campaigning?
It's been easy, you know. I had a good time. I actually enjoy doing it. And I'm not a newcomer to the political scene. I'm always around politics. But I'm a new candidate.
Right.
Yeah, so. But it's been going good. I had a good time.
When you observe the turnout this morning, what's your impression of the turnout for the morning?
Normally it's like this every election, and then you're going to drop off. Maybe next hour from now, you'll drop off. So normally this is now. It ain't really it's a sign of nothing. It's just in around this time.
Okay, so you normally have a lot of persons coming out early, and then the numbers decline as we continue.
Yeah, that's how we go. So by 11 o'clock and say be slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
But my chances here are looking very well. I see I could pick up a couple of votes well in this constituency. Actually, see change coming. Yeah, actually see change coming.
Well, in approximately 14 hours, we will certainly know the outcome of the elections, hopefully.
Yes. You see, the outcome of elections does not determine what I'm talking about with change. I'm talking about the attitude in this constituency. The attitude towards the People's Action Movement. I actually see it coming around. That's what I'm talking about change.
More receptive to the People's
Action Movement, yeah.
In this constituency?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're not successful this time around, most likely the next time around.
I already sown a seed. And you never have a harvest unless you sow a seed. So I already sowed that seed, and actually today we'll germinate, and then I will just nurture it until I get the harvest.
Then you'll reap the fruits of your undertaking.
Yes.
Well said, sir.
Yeah.
And we wish you the very best.
Thank you.
In this election as well.
Thank you.
It's the Sadler's Primary School, polling station number 7. There are 2 polling divisions, and the registered voters for the Sadler's Primary School in the polling station 1, 493 registered voters. Last year we had 471, so an increase of just around 22 voters. In polling station number 2 here at the Sadler's Primary School, we have 360 registered voters, 360. Last year we had 339, so just an increase of approximately 21 voters. Overall, last year we had 3,205 voters, 3,205 registered voters in constituency number 6. This year we have got 3,467, 3,467, so an increase of 262 registered voters in constituency number 6. 262, an increase of 262 voters here in constituency number 6. Sun is out in all of its brilliance. Persons here are lined up, sanitizing, following the protocols as they make their way into the polling station to cast their vote for either the People's Labour Party, St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party, or the People's Action Movement. This is it from the polling division number 7, the Sadler's Primary School, here in constituency number 6.
And that was Mr. Alva Bradley in constituency number 6 at the Sadler's Primary School, speaking with the People's Action Movement representative, Mr. Troy Flanders. We will now join Mervan Thompson in constituency number 8 with a short interview with the Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris.
fact participate in a rich democratic tradition in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so I feel very happy about what has happened today, especially after the false rumor we had yesterday evening. It's good to know that every organization, every constitution. Thank you. Bless.
That was an interview with the Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris. And now we will join Carla Berridge at the Tyrrell Williams Primary School in constituency number 4.
We're back again, coverage of the SKN elections. We are here in constituency number 4, polling division 3 at the Tyrrell Williams Primary School. With me is one of the candidates, a new candidate, Kendi Lyverd for the People's Labour Party. It is your first time doing this. What is the feeling?
The feeling is overwhelming. Firstly, I've been up all night. I haven't slept, since yesterday. So I'm pushing my work and moving around to the different constituents, to the different areas, the different polling divisions. And today I'm right here at Williams Box 3. I'm about to cast my vote. I am the only candidate among all 3 who can vote for themselves, and that should play a big role in selection process. So I would say it's a great experience. It's one that I am enjoying. It's taxing on the body, but one have to step up and try to restore flow. And I am that guy.
So you mentioned that you are the only candidate who can vote for himself in constituency number 4. How big a part do you think that has played in your campaign?
I played a part, because I've been pushing Son of the Soil a whole lot. I think it's resonating on people's mind. He's from here. When it rains on their roof, it rains on mine. I share the same issues they share, the same cries they share. So I think it played a big part in my campaign. I've been really pushing it and showing people that I am from the people, I know the people, and I will be here to represent the people as much as possible. No gimmicks, no tricks, just dedicated, hard-working leadership and representation.
So as you step in to vote right now, how confident are you?
Well, I am going to vote for myself, I would say. We should know how confident I am by midday today. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much and good luck.
Thank you.
All right. So we are here in constituency number 4. We are at polling station number 3, the Tyrrell Williams Primary School. This school has 2 units. It's 3A, surnames beginning with A to J, and they're expecting 395 voters. 3B, surnames beginning with K to W, they're expecting 423 voters. Once again, we are in constituency number 4. We are at polling station number 3, the Tyrrell Williams Primary School. There are just a few persons here. Once again, as the day progresses, we are seeing persons and they are patient and they are waiting and they are hoping to get in to vote, and so we're wishing everyone the best. We are reminding persons that they need a government ID, they need a mask just to stay safe. Reporting from here at the Tyrrell Williams Primary School in constituency number 4, Carla Berridge.
And that was Carla Berridge in constituency number 4 at the Tyrrell Williams Primary School, speaking with the PLP representative for constituency number 4, Mr. Kendi Lyverd. We'll now have some nomination day highlights to share with you.
Honorable Akila Byron, you have now been officially nominated for a second time. You see you walking the street, you look energized. How are you feeling right now?
I am feeling confident, I am feeling energized, I am feeling ready for election day. We have our work left to do and we will continue beating the pavement to make sure that our votes come out on election day. And the number 3, when the numbers are counted, when the votes are counted, at the end of the day, it's going to be Akila Byron Nevis in box 1 all the way down to polling 6. Akila Byron Nevis will return. You saw the energy this morning. We're ready for them. We're ready for them. No intimidation can intimidate Akila Byron Nevis. I have been delivering for the people of number 3, and the people of number 3 know that I have been delivering. So no kind of excuse and no kind of lies will ever detract them from what they know is the best for West Marshall, and that is me, Akila Byron Nevis, your People's Labour Party candidate in number 3.
You have just over a week left before the big day. What's one message you have for your voters out there, the constituents?
Let us stay focused. Let us stay focused on the mission ahead. We have the mission ahead, and that is to re-elect me for your representative in West Bastille. We will continue to knock on your doors. We will continue to come and see you. So just stay focused. There's nothing that they can say to you, and nothing that they can do can intimidate you. They know they are defeated. They know they have lost this election again, and that is why they're going to try every tactic in the book to try to intimidate the voters. But stay focused. Stay focused, West Bastille. It will be Akila Byron Nevis for the second time. Since they wanted it in 2 years, they're getting it in 2 years, and we're doing this for a 7-year term, if that's what they want. And then after that, we're locked. PLP is locked for every election after that. So it's Akila Byron Nevis in number 3 all the way, and all of the other PLP candidates throughout St. Kitts. Make sure on election day, you go out and go out early. Everybody first are you in the line. Vote early, get it over, and let's get ready for the victory at the end.
Returning Officer Philip is doing a final check of the documents to make sure everything was signed where it should have been signed, and Dr. Terence Drew has been nominated to represent the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party for Constituency 8 in August 5th election. General election, that is.
As you can see, our supporters are out in their numbers and in their red, and they're ready to win these elections. I'm happy to see so many persons from constituency number 8 in their red and ready. I want to thank those who nominated me, Ms. Sharon Bass and Mr. Keandra Weeks. I want to thank them very much, and I want to thank my family for supporting me and all those in the community who are supporting me. Labour is ready in constituency number 8, and there's no doubt that we will take this constituency and take the elections in just a short few days to go. So Liberation Day is around the corner.
So tell us quickly, tell us a bit about the process, the nomination process today compared to 2015, and you had expressed some concerns surrounding the list.
Right, so I expressed some concerns about the list because I'm supposed to be presented with a list on nomination, and that is part of the rule. I spoke to the supervisor of elections, I reached an agreement with him, and so I'll collect my list today. But the rules must always be followed as far as I'm concerned, so that there can be a smooth process and we can have confidence in the system. We cannot take any chances with our democracy, as I've been saying from time to time. Well, the process was quite a straightforward one. I've been here before. Our people would have been coached through the process, where you go in, you are given a form to sign, where you declare you are as a candidate and you have no reason that you should not be a candidate. And then after that, you would have paid your money, which is $150, and then you'll have those who came to nominate you to also sign. And they would have to be, of course, constituents of constituency number 8. My nominators today were Mr. Keandra Weeks and Ms. Sharon Bass, two persons who I appreciate very much and I thank very much.
Quickly, just looking forward to Elections Day, there was a suggestion that our recommendation put forward that counting should be done at each polling station. We haven't heard anything or any suggestion of that being implemented. Are you concerned that a repeat of 2020 can actually happen this year?
Well, I'm saying that the people are much more vigilant at this point in time. With respect to counting at the polling stations, one has to ensure that there is sufficient security so that nobody can attack the polling station to undermine our democracy. And I think that it is important that that is guaranteed by all. But irrespective of what takes place, Labour will come out victorious. We will be the vigilators, we will be vigilant when it comes to the process. But before you go on, one of the things I'm very concerned about, today the Prime Minister has not called for observers. I have written to a number of regional and international organizations who are known to be observers of elections. I'm very concerned that the Prime Minister has not done that as yet. And I want you to ask the Prime Minister why he has not brought in or invited observers of these elections. We will not accept an election without observers. And I want to make that clear. We suffered that, sir, in 2020 and we will not suffer it in 2022.
About what time, regarding the collection of the voters list from the electoral office, at about what time, considering there's a midday rally where PAM and Labour are stationed to be at the same place?
Well, I think PAM is a bit later, but I am going to collect my list very shortly, because if my list is not presented to me very shortly, as the supervisor would have said, it's there. So I trust the word, and I know that Philip Brown is here as well, who is overseeing the process here in constituency number 8. And so they should have our list, my list, ready to go.
We're back from our live Election Day coverage. Before we move forward, though, allow me to invite you this evening at 7:30 for our live election night coverage, where we will have a full panel of analysts who will be analyzing our results as they come in. So don't forget to tune in this evening at 7:30 p.m. for our election night coverage. We'll now join Mervan Thompson in constituency number 8, where she will be joined by leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, Dr. Terence Drew.
on the election this morning as you're here to cast your ballot?
Well, as you can see, the people are enthusiastic. I'm enthusiastic as well. It's time for change. Labour will win this election.
Are you confident the process is going well so far? No issues?
Well, there have been some hiccups here and there, but we are keeping a close eye and monitoring exactly what is taking place. We'll make sure that we have to do what we have to do to protect our democracy. Labour is the most ready party. We are ready, and the people are ready. Good morning. So we are ready, and the people are ready, and we'll make sure that we deliver for the people today. That is exactly what we are going to do.
What are some of the challenges that you've heard about this morning?
Well, there have been some polling stations open some minutes late, which is things should not have happened. I'm blessed, and I think that would have affected in some boxes and some areas. But apart from that, Labour is ready to lead the government. So I'm happy and I'm proud of the people of Labour. So I'm going to exercise my vote, and I think I am every morning, love you too, and I think I'm in 5B. Morning to everybody, morning. This is 5B, so this is D to G.
The party candidate for constituency number 8 is about to cast his vote. Well, he's actually about to enter the polling station to cast his vote. He's just arrived, and he's right at the entrance polling station 5B at the Dean Glassford's Primary School.
That's update from Andrew Dewey, a media colleague of SKN Newsline. Mervyn Thompson now for ZIZ News. We are live from the Dean Glassford Primary School, or the St. Peter's Primary School, and we just heard from Dr. Terence Drew as he walked up the hill to the polling station with media persons interviewing him. He's about to enter the polling station as well, waiting for the person who is inside to finish casting their ballot, and then he goes in. If you're just joining us, this is ZIZ TV and radio. We're bringing you live coverage of Election Day today in St. Kitts and Nevis, August 5, 2022. Dr. Drew has now entered the polling station. He has used his passport as his form of official identification. There's a line of persons here. We understand that it's one box per polling station. There are quite a number of persons, and where Dr. Drew is voting is at polling station 5B. Names beginning, of course, D for Drew to G in St. Christopher 8, polling station 5B. He is being briefed. He has been presented the ballot in which he will go behind, or he has chosen not to go in the area that is designated for voters to vote privately. He has decided to cast his ballot openly, and he has just dipped his finger in the ink. He's being presented with a piece of tissue to wipe it off, and he will be exiting the polling station in a few minutes. And he's received his passport, speaking with an election official as he makes his exit, and he now exits the polling station.
Well, it was a very seamless process. I want to congratulate the polling clerks who are working here. They have worked with a high level of professionalism in this particular box of the constituency. I have voted, and I have voted about 10 times for Dr. Terence Drew today. That's a joke, okay? But I voted for myself, and it brings a great deal of joy to me to be able to vote for Labour and to vote for Dr. Terence Drew. This is really a day that will bring liberation and set St. Kitts and Nevis back on the course of good governance and back to becoming #1 again in the OECS. Thank you all very much.
Yes. The notion that the process of the whole electoral voting should change, that we should become more electronic and also move away from this ink system.
Right, so I support using the technology that is available in our electoral process. So I look forward to incorporating that. That is one. There are a number of electoral laws that also need to change, which we will also propose to change, so that whatever is the result, people feel confident that the result that is had is the result that reflects the will of the people.
On that note, because we've been promised so many times electoral reform and electoral changes and constitutional reform, what confidence do we have that if the Labour Party wins, that will actually be put in place?
Right, there will definitely be changes. I think that the electorate is really pushing for changes as well, and as we go through the whole process, we will make sure that we change. And so the changes are necessary and important. So there's a high level of confidence that there will be changes.
Thank you.
Thank you all very, very much.
Dr. Terence Drew, who has just voted, he casted his vote at the Dean Glassford Primary School in St. Peter's. He's now greeting with supporters, and he's being congratulated by them. Of course, this is ZIZ Radio and TV's live coverage of Election Day 2022 in St. Kitts and Nevis, August 5.
And that was Mervan Thompson in constituency number 8 with leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, Dr. Terence Drew, as he exercised his right today to vote. Allow me again to invite you to join Leah Cragg-Chatterton and our panelists as we analyze the election results live on election night today, Friday, August 5th at 8 p.m. Earlier, I would have said 7:30 p.m., but you could join us at 7:30 in time for 8. So again, join Leah Cragg-Chatterton and our panelists as we analyze the election results live tonight on ZIZ Channel 5 and our social media platforms. As we delve into the election results, we'll also have the Supervisor of Elections with us and again, a group of panelists. We now continue with our Nomination Day highlights as we continue our Election Day coverage.
so happy to be here today on nomination day as the next parliamentary representative for East Bastille. This has been a people-centered.
We'll now join Carla Berridge in constituency number 5.
Turn this way a little bit? Wait. Okay. Ready? We're here in constituency number 5 at polling division 5, and as you can see, there are a few persons here getting ready to cast their votes. 1, 2, 3 maybe, but with us at the moment is candidate for constituency number 5 for the People's Labour Party, Stachio Williams, and he is a first-time candidate. So I am about to ask him, what is the feeling being a first-time candidate here in Sandy Point?
Being a first-time candidate here in Sandy Point is actually a great experience. Being the first PLP candidate for constituency number 5. So far from moving around to the various polling stations, the feedback has been great. I am feeling very confident of a victory here at the polls today.
So have you voted as yet?
This is my voting finger. I've already cast my vote.
Okay, and how confident are you having cast your vote for yourself here in constituency number 5?
Like I said, I don't enter any race to lose. I'm a winner. I've been a winner all my life, and I'm very certain about victory here today.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you.
Today.
I look forward to representing the people, the good people of Sandy Point, Fichy, and La Valley. Thank you. It's good.
Thank you so much. So we are here in constituency number 5, Sandy Point. This is 5B, polling station 5B. It is a container located in the gut. It's a little unusual.
Welcome back to our election day coverage. Before we move on, allow me to invite you to join Leah Craig Chatterton this evening and our panelists as we analyze the election night results live on election night, Friday, August 5th, 2022 at 8 p.m. This will be live on ZIZ TV, ZIZ Radio, ZIZonline.com, ZIZ mobile app, our YouTube and Facebook pages. Our panelists for this evening, we will have 2 panels actually. There will be our main panel, this panel will be led by Leah Craig Chatterton, and she will be joined by Lesroy Williams, lawyer McClure Taylor, lawyer Azad Gums, Craig Tuckett, Mr. Lachlan Tatum, Valentine Lindsay, Janelle Nisbet, and Mr. Michael Blake. Skanite Parians, who will be joining us this evening for our second panel, will be Moriel Knight, Malachi Ferguson, Jalen Monzak, Cara Daly, Jelani Bell, Hassani McDonald, Dominique Williams, and Malachi Howell. This panel discussion will begin at 8 p.m. So join us tonight live for our election night coverage. That brings us to the end of our 2022 election day coverage. We, like I said, expect for you to join us this evening at 8 p.m. We look forward for our conversations and dialogues that we will be engaged in as we, again, take you through the end of our election day. Thank you for joining us.